Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from Gavin O'Connor's The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. Now, when it comes to Gavin O'Connor's films, the latest one I've seen was actually The Accountant, which also stars Ben Affleck. And apparently before those films, he actually excelled in a lot of sports dramas. And this is definitely one of those films that happens to have Ben Affleck deliver one of the best performances of his entire career in a film that might seem predictable at first, but it definitely has a lot of genuine heart to it, and it makes it one of the better Ben Affleck movies I've seen in recent years. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story stars Affleck as Jack Cunningham, who has been widowed, has an alcohol addiction, and whose life has been going downhill for a while. But when his former school asks him to be a basketball coach for a group of athletically skilled but also not exactly championship material boys for their basketball team, Ben Affleck has to not only fight through his addiction and fight through his personal issues, but has to find a way to get these boys to become playoff material, and that's basically what the plot is about. The reason the plot works so well is mainly because it focuses on Ben Affleck's personal demons as much as it does for the actual basketball games. The games themselves are well shot, they're fun to watch, and they have a good sense of editing and pacing, but it's the human element of the film that really shines through. Jack Cunningham ends up being a great character, mainly because you get to see every single side to him. You get to see the side of him struggling with his addiction. You get to see the side of him being bitter over losing his wife and having her end up with some other guy. You also connect with him when he's trying to connect to the boys in the basketball team. He's a very three-dimensional character that way, and it makes for a good character study when you're able to see everyone's his positives and negatives. Yeah, he's a kind of a screw-up who swears all the time and has problems with, keeping out of the bottle, but you can tell he's clearly trying to improve himself, and that does endear you to him. The other characters are fairly two-dimensional, and I do think that the film could have explored some of the side characters a bit more, like some of the basketball kids. One of them's a flirt, one of them is a jokester. The captain gets a little bit of development, but it would have been nice if the kids actually did manage to develop more as characters, not just be archetypes. But they are all acted well, which is nice. The plot itself can be a little predictable for those who have seen these kinds of dramas before, but there's a real heart to the production that keeps you invested even when the cliches end up happening. It's almost as if Gavin O'Connor is saying, we know you've seen these cliches several times before, but we're going to handle them in such a thoughtful way that you don't even care that you've seen them before. And for the most part, they do work out. My only other complaint with the film is that it ends at a certain point that made me want to see a little bit of an epilogue. Now, the film is a good 1 hour and 43 minutes, and it is a decent length, and it doesn't feel like it goes on for too long, but I do feel that I could have used a little more of an epilogue to see how the other characters have done since the film reaches a conclusion, because it has a good beginning, it has some great moments in the middle, and it looks like it's leading to a great ending, but it feels like the film more stops rather than it ends, if that makes any sense. But aside from that, The Way Back is an excellent basketball drama that I feel uses Ben Affleck to his absolute greatest potential. So that's why it's getting an 8 out of 10. See you next time.